Hey everyone, it's me, Elna from twinsmommy.com, and it's been 1 month since I've launched my latest ebook, The 100K Formula, and I wanted to give you an update at how I made this book, why I made this book, and how much money it made. Already in the title, you know that I made $1,000 in 1 month. So this is the $1,000 ebook process. All my books have made over $1,000. And so I wanted to share with you how that came to be. I use Teachable. So you can see this is the landing page or the sales page right here. It's very simple. I wrote it up in 1 day. But before I wrote this sales page, I had some things that I needed to validate or to ensure to make an ebook. All right. It is one of the easiest digital products that you can do as a content creator. If you just have a YouTube channel, and if you grow that YouTube channel, you can set up a YouTube shop, which will be a shelf under your videos of all your products. A lot of people use it for merch, but you can use it for your ebooks. I've seen other content creators do that for their ebooks. And so I want to eventually do that once I have enough subscribers. I think you need 10,000 subscribers. I have that on my other channel, so I'm going to try and get that going. But let's focus on this one right now. So you can see here's a screenshot of inside my Teachable account. And so you can see I launched it on August 17th. Right now it is September 18th that I'm filming this. So it has been exactly 1 month since I have launched or created and launched and marketed this ebook, and it has earned over $1,000. So let's go through how I would do this again. Of course, I want to make more ebooks eventually on different topics. So one of the first things that gave me the option to create this ebook was validating what I was doing. Okay, this is always the precursor to any ebook that I create, any digital product that I create. Is there a strategy? Is there a tactic that is successful that I'm doing right now that I want to share with my audience? Now, I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of things that I do that I don't share because it's just too personal, right? Personal things, personal strategies. And also they're not mine. They're my husband's or whatever. So, and he doesn't want to share what he's doing. So, and I am okay with that. I have my own strategies that have helped thousands of people over all my courses, thousands, probably tens of thousands of people. And so I want to focus on what I'm doing so that I can help other people. And with validating that idea, I also have to make sure that it can cross different, lifestyles, different content, different niches, different platforms, things like that. So with this particular one, the 100K formula, what I noticed was in my Google Analytics, I started seeing my blogs reaching 100K and even 200K. So for example, one of my niche blogs, this is current, is at 223,000 views. Now it is slowly going down, but that's seasonal. I'm not worried about it. I don't publish a lot on that site as much. So I just know that if I want more traffic, I'm going to probably have to capitalize on Q4, which is the best time to grow your blog. So I'm not worried. I don't think it's going to go way below 200,000, but I'm at 200,000, 223 to be exact. My other blogs are very close to 100,000. Some of them have reached 100,000, but then they dip below. So it's a little volatile right now. But I noticed that what I was doing in that particular time, especially with writing my blog posts, publishing my posts, how I was doing it, finding the words, doing what I was doing was working. And I thought this strategy, what I'm doing is different than what I show in my course, the Pin and Win Pinterest marketing strategy. That focuses a lot on Pinterest and how to Pintify or Pinterestify or whatever your blog so that you can get globs of Pinterest traffic. This strategy that I was doing, I already had that in place. That was already working, but I wanted to really, streamline my blog process because I had so many niche sites. I wanted to just work on this. And what I was finding was I was doing sort of newer keyword researching. I had different thoughts about the type of content and how to create that blogging strategy was different than what I show you in Pin and Win. It was sort of like step by step. This is what you do to create a blog post for Pinterest. This is more like now you have your content schedule. What kind of posts are you creating? There's different types of posts now that I'm doing that are very strategic. So I was like, wow, this is something that I don't share anywhere else, that is validated with the blogs that are growing right now. And it's the perfect time to help new content creators, new bloggers, because Q4 is a great time to start growing your blog. Kids are in school, so you might have more time, as I do with my kids going to school. So I validated what I was doing. I saw proof that this was working. And so because of that, I then sat down, and my next part to this is the outline of chapters. So what were the big talking points I wanted to share, and how could I break that up so that it made sense for someone that is fairly new to Pinterest, fairly new to blogging, but had a blog, has a theme, knows how to publish blog posts, is on Pinterest, has a profile, but just they weren't really succeeding with what they were doing. That was how I outline the chapters. So what I found made sense was talking about what to do before you start this blogging strategy, because there had to be certain things in place. Talking a lot about niche selection. This is something that I really didn't talk about in Pin and Win, and it was an important foundational element to my blogging strategy. Having a solid content strategy, something that I don't talk about in the Pin and Win. It's just, this is what you do to put your blog onto Pinterest, and this is how you market it on Pinterest. This was like a solid content strategy. So you can look at this week I do this, the next week I do this, and this is the week, and this is how I tie it all together. Then I go into SEO keywords. I do talk about that in Pin and Win, but this is an updated version. This is how I look at it now. So it's a little bit more in depth. Whereas in Pin and Win, I show you. Here I talk about it. Here I show you why I do what I do. And then I have a private video of putting it all together. There is a link in the ebook where you can go to for an unlisted video where I show you on my Twins Mommy blog how I wrote this blog post. How did I find the topic? How did I do all that? And then you can see the tools and things that I use to come up with this blog post thing. All right. So again, this is focusing on before you go to Pinterest and market your blog, this is how you're going to have a successful blog to get to 100K page views, because I realize that with all my niche sites, I sort of do the same thing. It's not like I do anything different, because it's me doing the content strategy. It's me doing the blogging. I am a professional writer. So I know things. I know what works for clients, and that works for my blogs, my branded blog, so I know what can work, especially now that Pinterest is really helping content creators, or it's helping at least my niche sites. I haven't been affected with any Pinterest algorithms. Maybe one blog has, but I think there's reasons behind that. But all my sites have weathered the storm, and they're only a year old. Basically, I started last year in the summer, this is it. And all of them have done phenomenally well compared to Twins Mommy, where I struggled for years and years just to get 20,000 and then 50,000 and then 80,000 page views. It was very difficult. All right. So this is updated for right now. It's perfect. And so I thought this is great. I have some idea of how I want to take a reader down this journey of making the tactics make sense, right? I feel that I'm really good at that thing where I can break down a topic and then put it all back together in an easy way for someone to understand. That's what I get paid thousands of dollars from my clients when I break down these big topics for their audience. I can do that with my ebook. That was fun to do, and it was easy for me to do. I did that over an afternoon, and then I started writing the book. Now, there are going to be YouTubers out there, bloggers out there, content creators on TikTok, whatever, saying that, you can use AI to write your book. You can use ChatGPT. It'll write now a really good solid book. You could just break it down, have it write one page at a time, and then give it this topic, and then tell it how many paragraphs and Sure, you could, but I don't do that. I make it known either through my YouTube or in my emails or wherever that because I am a professional writer, I do write the book. I think it is more authentic when you are sharing the strategy and what works and what not. So yeah, there might be some grammatical errors in there. I use Grammarly. I get that. I understand. My husband read it and he's like, there are some inconsistencies here. So we worked on it. He read it. So, but it's authentic. It is my words and how I am telling you this works or not works. Okay. Now you can use AI for helping you with the outline of chapters. Say, you have a strategy and you have these chapters. Maybe I can tell ChatGPT, this is what I'm going to talk about. What are some other things that maybe there's some gaps that I missed? And it would tell me, well, you didn't talk about this, or you can talk about that instead. And I could have done that, but I'm very authentic to this is what I'm doing. This is exactly how I'm doing it. And I want to teach you that method because I want you to be successful. All right. So it's up to you if you feel like you want to write a book with AI. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but I just feel like if you want to be more successful and known sort of like for your products, then I would consider writing them out yourself. Now you can use ChatGPT if you have like certain topics like you wrote and you wanted to give it to ChatGPT and say, can you rewrite this so that it's easier to read? You can do that because it's your words you're feeding ChatGPT, so it'll be your words coming out kind of thing. That's fine as well. So you can use it as an assistant. That's what I always do. My clients are okay with that. Write the book. So those are the things that I did. And I did it chapter by chapter or part by part. And it took me a little bit longer than a weekend. I started it on the weekend, but then life got busy. So then I just finished it up. I think I did part 1 and 2. And then I did part 3 a few days later. I went back to part 1 and part 2 to make sure it all made sense, that I want to like be redundant and say the same thing over and over again. And then much later, probably weeks later, then I did the video. It took me a long time because I was too busy with my niche sites to write a blog post for my Twins Mommy blog. And so until I had that time and I felt okay about that, then I made sure to film that process. So all in all, it probably took me, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks total to write it out. And then I have ebook templates that I bought through Creative Market. I suggest that you find some templates that you pay for. I wouldn't use the ones in Canva because it's just not clear if they allow you to use their free or paid covers to sell things. So I would research that if you want, but it's just easier just to buy an ebook template that you can buy in Creative Market for like $20 and then you can use it over and over again. And that's what I did. My ebook cover is my own cover. So this is my own cover. I make this in Photoshop actually, but you could make it in Canva if you want, but these are stock photos that I've paid for over the years. I tried to make the ebook cover similar in style so that they all look cohesive when I am going to promote them all together kind of thing, right? So designing it was the funner part, of course, and it didn't take me as long because like I said, I have my templates. So I have my copyright template that I use. And then I have this sort of template here that I have my picture, hey there, and then I have this. And I talk about I talk about my proof. Why am I writing this book? Here's proof of all my sites. So I show you screenshots of the Google Analytics of all my sites of how they're reaching 100K or close to 100K. And I go through that. And then I do before you start, and I go through all the things that you need in place to make this strategy work for you. All right. So I sort of like design it. I put the page numbers when it counts. I put all the page numbers down, and then I write the TOC here. So then I know like these are the numbers that they're going to fall on kind of thing. Okay. So I have all that set out. Like again, this is from a template. That's my image that I use behind it. So it's all cohesive. Once I write the book and I write it out in Canva, like I am sitting on that page, I zoom it in and I just write it there. Now, some people will write it like on Google Docs or Microsoft Word and then just copy and paste. You can do that as well. But I just find that in my templates, I have different types of pages. So like all on one page or in columns, I add pictures. So it's very immersive that way. So that's why it takes me a bit of time over the weekend that I said, and then a couple days later and a couple days later kind of thing. So whatever works for you, but I find that every time I write my ebook, I just write it inside of Canva. Uploading it to your platform, your digital product platform that you use. If it's Teachable, then uploading it to Teachable like I did. And so I do it under digital products, that section. One thing that I was thinking about when I finished the book was maybe I should try like a different platform. Like I know I hear a lot of content creators use like Gumroad, for example, and they sell all their digital products with Gumroad. And I was thinking, well, geez, if I'm going to be writing more ebooks, maybe I should just separate that and just use like SendOwl or Gumroad or some other platform. But I don't know, life got too busy and I'm like, oh, whatever. I'll just upload it to Teachable because that's where I have all my other products right now. In the future, I might diversify where I sell my products. I know for my YouTube shop, they don't honor Teachable. They honor other platforms like Shopify and other things. So I have to market my ebooks on a different platform there. So maybe once I do that there, we'll see what happens. But for now, I'm fine with uploading it to Teachable. They handle all the affiliate payouts. If I have affiliates for my products, I do for some of them. I don't think I have any for my ebooks though. Once that was all taken care of, then the next thing was the sales page. And with the sales page, it's not just the writing, but it's also coming up with the graphics. Like I had to come up with this big header image here. So I used Canva to put this image in and then take a screenshot of the cover of my book and then put that in there with a shadow behind it. I also had to have the screenshots here. And then I made this also in Canva where I took screenshots of my book and then organized it very nice. And then I put a shadow behind it. Having these elements, I feel these design elements are important for your sales page. Now you don't have to, people who, sell on different platforms like Gumroad and stuff, they just have the written text and then that's that. But with Teachable, I guess with the sales pages, you can be more creative in that way and have sort of these screenshots. Once I get some testimonials, I may add them to the bottom here. I've done that for my other book. So for my Pinterest Secrets book, by the way, it's been updated for 2025 if you're interested. I use different images here. So here's my design for that one, screenshots. And then I decided to put these sort of testimonials that I got on YouTube. And so that was really nice. So I was able to add these to the bottom. So if I get those and if I remember, then I will add them to the bottom of my sales pages for my other ebooks or my other products. And so that's something you do when you build out your, sales page. It's important to have those design elements. And then when you're writing your sales page, let's go back to the other one. So for writing the actual words here, what I try to do is I try to do storytelling. I try to get in the shoes of the person that is struggling. So, my question, about to give up on blogging and Pinterest. I feel like if I can capture those people that are just struggling so much, nothing is working. Pinterest is not working for them. Their blog is just all over the place. They don't know what to do. Those are the people that I want to target. So when you're coming up with your ebook topic, you really need to dial down on the audience and speak to them. A copywriting hack or secret that I learned early on was to do some social listening. And what that means is go to social media, YouTube, read the comments, emails that you get from other content creators, see what type of words they use, sentences and phrases that you can pepper into your content. If I always hear that Pinterest sucks, then I might use that phrase. Does Pinterest suck for you right now? Because I'm speaking their language. When you speak their language, then the person reading is like, oh my gosh, they know what I'm thinking. They know me so well. And so that's an effective copywriting secret that I learned early on to write my sales pages. So I try to do that when I have time. And so through my email responses, when I hear about I'm about to give up on Pinterest, on Facebook groups, Pinterest is not working for me, things like that. And so when I ask this question, then I go and share what's working for me. And then I try to give them some kind of hope that because this is working for me, then I've done all the work for you. I've cracked this code and it can work for you. So then I go and switch. This is for you now. It works for me. Now it will work for you. And I'm explicit. I don't hold back what I share in this ebook. All right. So, and I share the features. Now, features aren't the biggest things, right? But I share the features here just so that people are like, is this a book for me? Maybe I already know half of these things, so it's not for me. I do want to make sure that the people that are actually buying the book and not refunding me is because they can look at the feature, this is what the book is about, so I need that, versus I already know all of that. Now, this is not a very comprehensive sales page. If you really want to learn the craft of writing a sales page, then this is my $1 million sales page. It has made me over $1 million. And so this sales page took me the longest. It was the first one I've ever written, and I've optimized it and tweaked it over time. These testimonials are brand new. And the way that I position them are all brand new. The design element is new. The words I've updated here and there, but this is what worked for me. And so I use this strategy for selling my Twins Mommy course, Ready Set Blog for Traffic, back in the day. And that also proved successful as well. When I designed this was the type of graphic that everyone was using, this mock-up. So I did that and I kept with it. It is what it is. And then the testimonials, I think, are what really sells a lot of people, especially for a high paying product. I mean, it's not that high paying, but it's, what is it? $197, I think. $195. Yeah, it's almost $200. There's a lot of proof that you need, a lot of testimonials. These are the features here, what you get. At the very bottom, all of this is very logistical stuff, but it's the top of the part where I share my story, and that's where people can gravitate to you. I go into the headspace. Maybe you think all of this about freelance writing, that you're failing miserably. This is the same thing that I did in the 100K. About to give up on Pinterest. You're failing. This is not working. Soul crushing. This was what I learned from other people talking about their job on social media. Like, it was a soul crushing 9-to-5 job. I just want to get out of that. I use those words in here so that people, it really hits home. Same things about the word ripped me away from my twins. Hearing other moms, I had to get away from, I had to be away from my children. I had to put them in daycare, all that stuff. I use those words in my content to connect with the audience and the person reading it. So that's a big copywriting secret that I think I've shared enough about it, but that's what works. So you can really just, if you want, read the words from this. You can even ask ChatGPT to analyze the different sales pages that you have and pinpoint what works, what you can take out of it and use in your sales page if you want to do something like that. But something as simple as this has earned me $1,000 from my ebook in 1 month. So as long as you know your audience and inside and out, and again, you can use ChatGPT to help you. Here is what I blog about. This is a topic that I want to write my ebook. Who's the audience? What kind of challenges are they having based on this topic? And ChatGPT can give you some help on that if you need help on identifying the challenges your audience is facing and how your book will be the solution to their problems. Because that's what ebooks are. These are little strategies that solve one specific problem. Okay, same thing with courses. It solves one specific problem. With my Right to 1K, it helps you break away from your job and make money from home. I mean, it's a little bit of a two-part thing, but that's basically what it is. And this ebook will help you get to 100K page views so that you can make money from your blog. All right, so after it's uploaded to Teachable, after I write the sales page, then I start marketing it. I usually tap into my email list first. I give them sort of exclusive that I just launched this product. You get first dibs. You can look at it kind of thing. Sometimes I might do an early bird special kind of thing, but for a low ticket offer like this, I don't. So over on Kit, which was ConvertKit, here's the email I put here. Your 100K formula is here for you. Now, I don't remember if I sort of teased that I have this ebook. I probably did that. I probably mentioned in a couple newsletters before this that I was writing an ebook, but I didn't really share what it was about. And so if you read this, maybe some people are thinking, oh, maybe she's going to share some tactics for this 100K formula. Maybe that's what it is. Because I don't say that it's an ebook. I don't say it's a product. So that could be a bit misleading. But regardless, I did get 45% open rate with a 3.7% click rate, which is very high for especially a promotional email. Okay. So again, that's something that you can do for your email subject line if you want to get those clicks, but then you have to write the email so that they want to click, right? Instead of not clicking. And you'll do it wrong when your click rate is low and that people aren't buying your ebook. I always say I'll make this quick, because I know this is promotional, so I'm going to make this quick and I don't want you to read this long thing. But I give the link right away. I show proof right away and then a link again, and then that's it. It's a short email because it's promotional, and then they go and they click on it. And then you get sales from that, okay? And then after that promotional email list, every email after that, I might do a little promo spot in my email, but usually at the bottom of my email, I show all my products. And so I'll put a new link to that ebook in the bottom of my email. Here are all my, if you're interested in learning about such and such, check out my digital products kind of thing, or, my resources. So I have that for every newsletter at the bottom of my email. I've been doing that for years and I know that makes sales. So I do that. And then every couple of emails, if I'm writing about blogging, if I'm writing about Google, if I'm writing about something like that, that's relatable, then I will share in my 100K formula, I do go more in depth into that topic. So you can check it out if you need help with that specific thing, right? Because there's 3 parts to that. There's SEO, there's a content strategy, there's a niche selection. So if I'm leaning in that in my newsletter, then I'll say, well, I go more in depth on that in the book kind of thing. So I've been doing that periodically in my latest newsletters. So I do email list, I do social media, and whatever makes sense. It could be, your marketing on TikTok, on Instagram, things like that. For example, over on LinkedIn, I shared how my blog reached 200K in 1 year of blogging. I go into a sort of a promotional thing that I've cracked the code. This is how much I'm making, all this stuff. This process is scalable, and over time, these sites will earn me 10,000K and more. This is one of my favorite side hustles since I love writing and creating content so much. I share this updated strategy in my latest ebook. So here it is, 100K formula. Link is in the description. Now with LinkedIn, you don't want to put a link in your topic. You've put it in the description like you do on Instagram. So here is the link right there. Okay. And so people are saying they'll check it out, all this stuff here. All right. So I got some things. So I shared it on LinkedIn. I may have tweeted it on X. I'm not quite sure, but I didn't go too crazy with it on social media, but I will like something on LinkedIn where I have nurtured a close audience over time, of freelancers and content creators that I knew that I could probably sell to them better than I would on Instagram, where I don't update very often, or on TikTok, which I haven't made a video in probably 6 months or something. So that was my thinking to market just on LinkedIn because I was the most active. So you can market on social media, the platforms that work for you, that where your audience hangs out. So I did email, social media, and then I did YouTube. Now, if you have a YouTube channel, YouTube is probably the best method to make sales because of the nature of video, the nature of the connection you can make via video. Now, I know I'm not doing a talking head video. I'm trying not to at the moment just because life is so busy right now. But I'm hoping that I am authentic by sharing my strategies, by opening up as much as I can to, for my audience to trust me on this, trust that what I'm sharing is legit. It's not fake. Showing you screenshots. This is how much I made. This is when I launched the book and this is how much it's made right now. Those are things that are hopefully are giving you trust signals that what I'm saying is the truth. Sharing my copywriting secret that I've had that helped me make $1 million, stuff like that, where you may not get in other videos, you may not get from other content creators, right? They hold that dearly and they don't want to share that, or they want to put it behind a paid wall. So there are some things that I will share, but of course there's other things that if I put under a paid wall, like a product, then I can't disclose a lot of that. That's why with my strategies, I like to bundle up in a digital product. I can talk about the overall things on my YouTube channels, but the strategies are what sells. And so when you come up with your topic, that's something that you need to think about. And marketing, you can create a funnel of a 30-day funnel for your email list to market your ebook or your products. I do that for my big courses. You can be more heavily invested in social media by sharing videos constantly about your results and then the link for your ebook, and as well as YouTube. So you can pick what you want and stick with that. Email is probably the most solid, then YouTube is next for me. So if you have any questions about ebooks, make sure to check out my other video where I really go more in depth about how to market and sell your ebook and how to write it as well. Go ahead and check that. And then if you have any questions, post them down below. I'm more than happy to help you. All right. Talk to you later.